Hello, everybody. Welcome to Starting 11 special Boxing Day week edition. It's going to come to you on Saturday morning when we should be all watching the English Premier League, but of course, Boxing Day is special for the Premier League. They try and get as many matches as they can. Now, I know you, if you're in America, watching or listening right now, maybe don't know what Boxing Day is. Well, we have it here in Canada, but we just basically stole the name, really. We use it for shopping. It's like you guys have Black Friday, Boxing Day, same kind of deal, I think. Now, the English used it for their, well, I guess it was their lords and aristocrats would box up their leftovers and maybe throw a little couple tiny gifts into boxes for their servants and stuff. And I guess this was a big deal for them or whatever, to just show that even the most highly inbred people can be human after all. So there you go. The aristocrats and lords giving their little servants a little, their table scraps. Aren't they wonderful people? Okay. Speaking of wonderful, well, guys, of course I'm not doing too wonderfully. We're black today, as you see. No flag behind me. No jersey to wear. Ridiculous. The fall games, but we're going to get to that match in a minute. First off, let's go. You guys want to, it's just coming after Christmas. The first match after Christmas. You guys want a fun tale? Well, how about an underdog story of poor, trod upon Manchester City? They're having to host a mean and evil, powerful Everton. Now, of course, the city starts with the excuses, and they're, the press say, well, they're without Kyle Walker, and Ederson's not going to play this match. John Stones isn't in. Jack Grealish, what a huge hole he'll leave in their starting 11. Now, obviously, they shouldn't be able to compete with Everton, without Jack Grealish and Ederson, who seems to be in and out of the lineup from choice the last few games. They only have Stefan Ortega, to back him up, it seems. So, and they also have to make do with some young Norwegian striker who's trying to make his way in the Premier League. He's been a little out of form since advising another team's manager that he should stay humble. I believe he only has 3 goals since he went up to him and said those ridiculous words, whatever. So, but heroically, City get the first goal. Wow. A little used midfielder, just a no-name brand guy. Bernardo Silva putting one just past Jordan Pickford's fingertips. Just 14 minutes in, but the 36th minute, that pieced together back line that's forced to use little known guys like Yasko Gvardiol and Nathan Ake and Manuel Akanji. Rico Lewis, I guess, too. They stand absolutely still as Abdullah Decores finds Ilman Ndiaye in the box. He puts it far side, levels it. Go to the second half. In the 51st minute, that poor heroic Erling Haaland. We'll get to him in a second. First, I guess I should mention that Vitaly Minkolenko puts down Savvy just inside the box too. Savvy even dragging the foot or whatever. He's trying to do everything. He does get clipped or whatever. So I think it was a penalty, but Savinho doing all he could to make sure they got it. But City, so the officials love to point out the spot for them. So here comes that young upstart, Erling Haaland, to the spot. He tries his darndest, but no, he's stopped by that mean old Jordan Pickford, stops him. I don't know if Holland was trying to go for a corner or something like that, or going for the center. Maybe he was thinking about both. Kind of split down the middle because Pickford really didn't have far to go to save it. It gets actually played up to Holland in the aftermath, and he heads it in, but he was 2 yards offside when it happened. So no goal for that. No goals the rest of the game. What an underdog story. Manchester City get a point against powerhouse Everton. Now, of course, Everton has been playing actually quite well over the last 3 matches, draws against Arsenal and Chelsea, and now City as well. Well, I guess I should also mention that Pickford, the first ever keeper to stop Erling Haaland on a penalty kick. One other time he was stopped was by a post. So not really a goalkeeper doing anything to do with that. And then Everton had chances to go in the last 10 minutes or so, but only had to settle for the 1 point at the Etihad. And what a world we live in. What's this, 13 games now? I think they've got 6 points out of it. Unbelievable. The tumbling that's happening at Man City. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating. Guys, but we're going to move on. And I have to talk about something that just spoiled my entire holidays. You know what I mean? There's some things that happen, maybe people fight at dinner. Maybe you didn't get what you want. Maybe you got the old lump of coal in the old stocking. Well, Chelsea gave all their fans a lump of coal. They go down to Fulham frigging Football Club 2-1. The first loss for the Blues at the bridge to Fulham since 1979, guys. I just had to sit for a minute and let that stew in my head. 1979. Wow. They get a nice goal by Cole Palmer, 16 minutes in. It looks like, Colwell gets him the ball. He just makes one quick move, puts it in, low shot. You'd think that they have all kinds of control, Chelsea. And for the first half, they remain in control. They have good chances. One thing you start noticing, though, is they're allowing stretch plays by Fulham. Fulham is starting to move the ball on them long, and that's because Chelsea wants to play long. Chelsea's they want to keep getting, try to get more goals or whatever, and they would screw it up, in the final thirds. But they would want to play long instead of keeping everything tight, moving together up the field like the way Maresca wants. They decided, well, we score goals doing this other way. So I think Maresca just let them play just to see what would happen, and it doesn't look good. But what else doesn't look good is on the tying goal. Who was it? Wilson, Harry Wilson's tying goal. It's a Wobie with the ball on the left hand side. He drops his shoulder into Pedro Neto's. It's either his head or its face, but he goes down holding his head. Now, every other game I've watched where it looks to be head contact and severe head contact, they blow the whistle. You just play the ball free from there. They decided not to do that. He decided to let the referee decided to let him roll around in pain. Wobie keeps on. Ball goes in over to gets headed back one time to Wilson. Wilson puts it in. Neto was still down. Neto was down for quite some time. Had to get taken off the pitch. Had to do the recuperation for 30 seconds, stuff like that. But he was down for a long time. He dropped his shoulder, guys. If you do this in hockey, it's a penalty. How is this not a penalty in English football? It was bananas. When I say penalty, foul, but I just didn't understand what was going on. Couldn't get it. And the goal that Muniz ties it. Muniz wins it in extra time. What was Chelsea's backline doing so far forward? What was was like Tosin thinking he was going to score the goal to win it? Like, why were they all up at tap? Like, I don't get it. Anyways, this is where I was saying they were letting Fulham play the ball, pass them and stuff like that. 2-3 passes, and Fulham had good chances. So, good on Fulham to recognize that Chelsea were playing selfish football. But shame on the 11 guys that started, the guys that came in to finish up. Jadon Sancho's probably his worst performance in a Chelsea shirt so far. And this is just in the same week that the site started saying, well, what a steal this is going to be for Chelsea getting him from United. Well, he puts in an absolute stinker in this one. No idea why Matchweek didn't come in at some point. Maresca calling it a technical decision. And I think he was doing the press conference afterwards. He either had trouble saying technical decision, or he wanted the reporter to know that it was a technical decision because he was saying it kind of almost aggressively at the end, which was strange. So, anyways, Maresca been preaching, Chelsea is not in a title race. They went out and proved it. They went and proved it. This is not a team. This is not a performance worthy of chasing after anything right now. You can chase after your own tail, the performance like this. But yeah, there's few things I dislike more than dropping points to Fulham and to do it at home for the first time since I can, since my sporting fandom. Chelsea lose at the Bridge to Fulham. What an awful Christmas. What an awful Christmas present for your fans, Chelsea. Come on, get it together. Even my dogs don't like it. You hear that? Anyways, next match going on. Bournemouth and Palace, we don't talk about. 0-0 draws, at least not very much, I'll just say. They each had 4 shots on target. Potter's still upset. Potter's still upset about that performance against Fulham. Anyways, moving on. Newcastle, Villa, and it only takes 80 seconds for Anthony Gordon to score in this one. He takes the ball into the box. Into the box. Just decides, I'm just going to have a nice curl, deposit into that fucker. And lots of goals in this one come from one end of the box into the far side of the post. So this is a thing I think people have just been working on. It's almost an unstoppable shot if you can get it right, which is so good for them. Anyways, that one goal that he scores 8 seconds is like an insurmountable lead because 31 minutes in, Fabian Schär and John Duran are getting into, just mixing a little bit. They get down the pitch. Duran's chasing the ball. Schär defending. He gets in the way, falls. John Duran's with him. Looks to me like Fabian Schär turns around, puts his boot up at Duran. Duran kind of pushes him out of the way, then steps on his butt, steps on his backside. Anthony Gordon goes, Anthony Taylor comes out, red cards him. Red card, straight red card. VAR holds it. You could have easily done it for both, but Fabian Schär doesn't even get a yellow. I don't understand. It doesn't look like he's just twisting around and there's accidental contact. It looks like he puts his foot up to stop John Duran. So I understand the Duran card, but none for sure is a little fishy to me. But it wouldn't really. I guess it doesn't matter after that. Duran. So Isaac gets another chance and scores. He gets the second goal at 59 minutes. Joe Linton gets the other one in extra time. But Isaac had one ball come outside. He played it in, like outside the area. He plays it back in, and I think it's Joe Linton that scored that one. They called that one back. They had like 2 others called back. There was one off the crossbar. That the score was 3-0 favored Villa. Newcastle was really all over him after Duran was sent off. Villa's now in 9th spot, which is like the traditional Aston Villa spot, so they should be very comfortable here now. 3 in a row, though, for Newcastle, who have, been absolutely topsy-turvy, but have looked strong the last 3 matches. They are now in 5th spot somehow, which is as much to say about some teams underperforming as they've been performing. You know what I mean? Moving on. Southampton and West Ham. There's tons to say about this match either. Jaron Bowen getting the game's only goal in the 59th minute. It's just another great match by Lucas Fabianski, making 5 saves, getting the clean sheet. Guido Rodriguez was shown a straight red card in the 51st minute. I think it was a little, it was rash by the referees and the VAR. Take a look, and Rodriguez actually pulls out of his challenge. He puts his studs to the ground. His shin may have made some contact with the West Ham guy, but or sorry, with the Southampton guy, but it was slight. So yeah, they wave off the red. They give him a yellow. I think that's a correct call too. He didn't go in there with any malice, and definitely didn't go in there with any danger. If anything, it was Kyle Walker-Peters that he runs into. Sorry for that's the Southampton guy he runs into, Peters. Yeah, so he does kind of slide into him a little bit, but he took all malice out of that. So I think it was a good call to wave it off. Now, Southampton do end up losing 1-0. It's Ivan Juric's first match, but they look good. They had chances. Southampton had good enough chances in this one. Of course, West Ham isn't fantastic by any means, but yeah, they have been unbeaten in the last 4 games. So there's something to that. I think 2 wins and 2 draws, but maybe piecing together a little run for West Ham here. I think, what are they, 12th or something like that, 13th maybe? Yeah, this is where they should be. They're exactly where they should be, actually. So, yeah, we'll move on to an interesting match here. Forest and Spurs, and Forest has just had a terrific start to the season. It's continuing. 28 minutes in, Morgan gives White with an outstanding pass to Anthony Elanga in the box. He gets him in stride, beats Fraser Forster 1-0, and Spurs had the ball all the time. Spurs had 70% of the ball. They had good chances. They had 0 finish. Son puts the ball into the side netting a couple of times. They couldn't find an answer, so Forest win 1-0. They remain 4th. Spurs fall to 12th. They have a plus 13 goal differential, and they're 12th, which is amazing. It's bonkers. Also, guys, when does Nuno Espirito Santo start getting recognized as probably the manager of the year? It's probably, it's probably going to end up, people are going to give it to Arne Slot for doing nothing, for caretaking Jurgen Klopp's club. You know what I mean? But Santo's been fantastic for Forest this year, especially with all the crap we talk about this, all the crap that Forest have gone through, especially last year. Some of them on their own design, but we don't hear them yapping too much about the officiating this year, do we? Different attitude for Forest in the 24-25 season. Moving on. How fun is this? Go to the Molyneux. One guy who won't be manager this year, I bet my house on it. Ruben Amorim. Victor Pereira coming in now for Wolverhampton. Got two recently named Portuguese managers going out. We're going to pick things up in the second half. Bruno Fernandes on an 18th minute yellow tackles Nelson Semedo late. Steps on his foot while doing it. He's shown another yellow. This, of course, means red. It's the second suspension of the season, so it means he's going to miss 2 games for this. I believe the next 2 matches for United are against Newcastle and Liverpool, so things don't get any easier for them. It gets easier to laugh at them, possibly, which is fun, which is good, because, guys, this is the thing that saved me. Having Spurs lose, having United, well, I'm going to talk about it in a second, having United end up the way they do in this match too. Let's go on to what happens next. It's that first goal comes from the 58th minute, and it's easily goal of the week. I can't think of anything else that would beat Mateus Cunha taking a corner kick, watching it sail around into the far side of the net. Uh, Absolute wizardry. And the weird thing is, this is the second time this has happened against United in the last week, because in the English Cup, Son did it to them from Spurs. Like, do you guys not work on this stuff? It's like you're as bad as Chelsea was 2 years ago, defending corners. Uh, some United fans getting upset because Matt Doherty was standing in Onana's way, not interfering, just standing his own ground. And people wanted to know why he was allowed to do that. Because he's allowed to have his own space. Onana, up until the balls get push this guy out of the way if he wants. Didn't do it. He was, he was weak. And they had this coming. Ever since that thing last year where Onana didn't get called for punching that Wolves player when clearing and stealing 3 points taking 8 points from Wolves, but stealing 3 points for themselves. Ridiculous. The Wolves and United always have these interesting matchups, don't they? Interesting for us. And then, of course, we'll talk about the last goal. Comes in extra time. It's Cunha again. And, day after Christmas, he's still in the Christmas spirit. He feeds Wang Yichan while they're on a 2-on-0 break. He feeds it across the crease to him. Easily puts it by Onana. Makes the score 2-0. Now, Wolves have pulled themselves out of relegation just the 2 matches under Pereira, who's now unbeaten as Wolves manager. By the way, maybe Vitor Pereira is going to become the manager of the year. Who knows? Still ways to go. But they've finally cleared after that dreadful start. They've actually pulled themselves up. Now, this is to say that Leicester was still to play this weekend, but I think their competition was fairly tough. In fact, we go to that game now. Leicester have to take on Liverpool, so they were in it. But they did get off to a great start. 6 minutes in, Sefi Mavidi finds Jordan Ayew in the box. He spins. His shot looks to go. I think it goes off of Virgil van Dijk into the net for the shocking early lead for Foxes, and they keep that lead till the extra time in first half. Now Liverpool had already had numerous chances. Finally, Cody Gakpo was able to put one in from outside the box to the far side of the net to level it. Again, another one where it's just taking the furthest possible route to net, but finding the twine. So there's been something to that this entire season, which has been fascinating. And go over to the second half, and it doesn't take long for Liverpool to add another nice short pass from Alexis McAllister. Goes into Curtis Jones's either feet, goes into him right in stride, but that ball goes in quickly. It took a while for VR to clear it, though. It looked like maybe in the build-up that Virgil van Dijk, for some reason, outside. But the way their cameras were picking, it was only going the one way, and they wouldn't show from the other direction. So inconclusivity, I think, is what you could call that VAR check. To my biased eyes, like, oh, that's offside. But there's nothing really that shows them either being offside or onside. So you have to let it go. It's fine. And, guys, what's a Liverpool match without a Mo Salah goal? And this time it comes late, 82nd minutes in. Not his flashiest goal, but he manages to get it into the net, no problem. He takes the 3 points for Liverpool. They now lead by a considerable margin. We'll see if someone's able to close the gap on them at all in the matches that happen on the Friday. And Leicester, poor Leicester. They get a United guy in there, and they maybe a quick flash start, and then now starting to go down. Leicester now below the relegation line, guys. Wolves in safety, which is bananas. It's crazy. It's a crazy time in the Premier League. So Move to the Friday matches, then we get another 0-0 game. I wanted to talk about this one quick because Brighton, sorry, we're talking Brighton and Brentford. Brighton was all over the Bees. They just couldn't find the breakthrough. They had 7 shots on target. They had 24 shots total. Julio Enciso had 8 shots of his own in the first half, which is bananas. Mark Flecken, Brentford goalie, goes down injured 36 minutes, so he has to get subbed off. The manager started fighting him for this. For some reason, the people over at Brighton were quite upset that a goalie got injured. He got taken out. It's not like he was wasting time. He got taken out and replaced by Håkan Valdemars. This is a great name. I think he's a Norwegian as well. This is his first ever Premier League action. I guess he played a couple of matches for them in cup play, but now he gets to come in, share a clean sheet, a rare shared clean sheet these days. Brighton now winless in 6 matches, which is bonkers. They're still clinging to a top 10 spot though. Brentford just 2 points behind them in 11th. Now, the last match of the week, and we had Arsenal take on Ipswich. The game that was closer than it should have been. Sam Schmodich for Ipswich starts the match, where both halves of the match. It's a great chance. Never puts it on target though, which is the same for everybody else on his team. 0 shots on target for Ipswich, just 3 attempts on. Like, this was all Arsenal. It should have been much more than the 1-0 score it was. The 1 goal coming courtesy of Kai Havertz, a fantastic pass by Leo Trossard, threading the needle. Havertz finding space between 2 blue-shirted defenders right in the mouth of goal to tap that one home. I thought he had scored more than 7. They say that's his 7th goal of the season, so good for the timid deer. Again, I'm going to say Ariana Muric was very good in net for Ipswich Town. Arsenal wasted at least 3 really good opportunities. Gabby Jesus had her in close, should have scored. I think it was maybe have been Gabrielle. Also puts a header just wide when he had tons of space. Declan Rice, a good chance as well. I think it was Darrow Shea got in the way of that in a very brave spot to be getting in the way of. You know what I mean, guys? Anyways, and 3 points for Arsenal. Arsenal leaped past Chelsea. They're back in the 2nd spot. Still 6 points behind Arsenal, though, behind Liverpool. Liverpool still have that game in hand. But, that game's against Everton. And Everton's been informed. Wouldn't that be amazing if Everton gets points from Chelsea, Arsenal, City, and Liverpool in the same year? It's going to be at Goodison Park. It'll be the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, the old one. So fascinating stuff. Anyways, guys, that was it for this part of the week. We got another whole matchup, or a whole week of matchups coming up here soon. I believe the matches start Sunday. That's why we're having this release on the Saturday, just to keep you tidy. You want Saturday morning football. I get it. We'll have to wait a couple of days. Now, let's go into the tables here. We're going to go into our pick'em leagues. Guys, once again, I've been stuck with 3 wins. Not great. Ferris and Adelia having this week. They both come up with 5 wins. But I think this might be my week, guys. I think this is the week. Finally, not only top the week, but maybe take control of this entire thing. I'd have to probably win all 10 matches, and I'll probably have to do that 2 or 3 times. As let's see the table, I am currently 14 points behind Ferris, in first place. Not great. I'm going to say this right now. Not ideal. Uh, I'm 6 points behind Adelia too. None of this is terrific, but not giving up. There's still half the season to go here, guys. Goodness sakes. Now, we're going to move on. Adelia wasn't able to join us today, but she was gracious enough to send in her picks, and I'll be going through mine with you guys as we do this. First match, Leicester versus City. This is at King Power. City can't blow this one, right? Now, there's a reason why I only get 3 wins a week, because I like to pick crazy results. I will not be doing that this time, though. I will pick City to beat Leicester. Adelia picked City as well. All right, moving on. Crystal Palace versus Southampton. It's at Selhurst Park. She's picked Crystal Palace. This seems like a good match for a draw, right? This seems like a match to be halved. Maybe Southampton look like defensively look good. Maybe this is something they can get out of it. It was West Ham, but this is Crystal Palace. All right, I'm going to take a draw. Adelia probably more correctly chose Crystal Palace to win. Moving on. It's at that old Goodison Park. Everton's going to take on Forest. Everton playing so well defensively of late. Forest finding wins, not just at home like they usually do, on the road as well. She's chosen Forest. I'm going to pick Forest as well. Yeah, they're just in form. Like Everton's playing well, but they're going to beating these guys. Do I want to switch? This is the time I have to do it. Do I want to switch? No, I'm going to take. I think Forest can beat. They can play that same style where they just want to, chokehold you and wait for opportunities, and they're good when they get them. Martin Gibbs White's been so good. Moving on. Fulham, Bournemouth, and this is at the Cottage. She's chosen Bournemouth on the road. I'm going to choose Fulham. Especially if they play up top like they did against Chelsea in late. Bournemouth, just came off a scoreless draw. Like Fulham's going to, I think, will score. This is going to be it. I'm going to say something crazy, but I think Fulham's going to win because they'll score more goals than Bournemouth will. It's a new way of thinking about sports. Brought to you right here. Good old Let's Get Ready Network. The highlights, which may have some branding things coming soon. Stay tuned for that. Moving on. Spurs and Wolves. Adelia's chosen Spurs. This is at the North London Porta Potty. Wouldn't it be fun? Again, we're thinking, wouldn't it be fun if Wolves get a result out of Spurs? So I'm going to say they will, but I'm going to say a draw. Adelia said, no, Tottenham should win at home, and they probably should. But again, I don't win these weeks because I think stupid things like this. A draw for Wolves. West Ham at London Stadium taking on Liverpool, and they're going to get their asses handed to them. Liverpool's going to win. Adelia thinks so as well. Moving on to Villa and Brighton, two teams that have been out of form, to say the least, as of late. No, Villa did have that win over City. It's at Villa Park. Adelia's chosen Villa to win. Is it more misery for Brighton and Hove Albion? I'm going to say, yeah, it is. I agree with her. Villa should win that match. Ipswich, Chelsea. And what do you want from me? Even she's chosen Chelsea in this one. I think, Chelsea they have to batter these guys, right? They have to take out a couple weeks of frustration on the poor tractor boys, I would imagine. Moving on. United taking on Newcastle at Old Trafford. Old Trafford may confound, Chelsea still for some reason. I don't think it has that same amount of mystery to teams like Newcastle, though. Newcastle, on that real good run of 3 wins in a row, I think they make it 4, as does Adelia. They should beat Manchester United, and the drama will come. They don't have Bruno Fernandes either. It'll be fun. But there's one match remaining, and I think we might differ on this one. Brentford at home to Adelia and Ferris's favorite, Arsenal. They've both chosen Arsenal, which is what a rational, sane person would think. I have this gut feeling that Brentford's going to take this match. Probably take it 2-0. And if they do take it by that 2-0 score, I will publicly say that I'm a soothsaying witch. Well, we'll see. I'm going to choose Brentford plus chaos. Chaos is always fun for me. And this is, again, why I suck at predictions. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on your Saturday. If not listening as this is being released, thanks for joining me when you had the chance to do it. It's of course, I think a little bit odd to watch something that's so time specific as the 18th week of the English Premier League at any other time, unless you're going in the far future and deciding, I wonder what the entire thing is. Yeah, you could make a playlist, play them all in a row, find out what happened in the English Premier League with your friends at the starting 11. We'll be back. If the last match is New Year's Day, maybe I'll have a show come out on the Thursday, maybe record it, have it come out on the Friday. But I'll have another starting 11 for you guys next week to talk about this match week 19 that's coming up. Now, what else is coming up? Well, if you guys are watching it on the Saturday, well, let's Get Ready Network, the flagship entertainment channel. LGRN After Snark will be airing. That's coming to you at 4:30 Central Standard Time. The real time zone, the only one that really matters. You can figure out the other ones by doing math. Danny and I are going to be talking about the Skeleton Crew. We're going to talk about episodes 4 and 5. I don't think we talked about. Did we talk about 3? We must have. Maybe. But we're also going to talk about what we're looking forward to in movies and TV in the good old year of 2025. It's coming up so quick. There's only a few days left in 2024. Some say good riddance. Some say already. But, time marches. Time waits for no one. You know what I mean? Like, look at this hair. Guys, you may think I'm 29 years old, but I think the hair kind of belies that. Also, Rewatchers Council. That's the show that Adelia and I do about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We're on the same kind of break that Buffy took because it just so happened to work out that their schedule kind of was meeting up with our schedule. So we said, well, they take a break until the new year, so it's a good chance for us to take a breather. I can watch some shows and do some notes. First show back will be January 9th, and that'll be Gingerbread, and it's an incredible episode. I think the one after that is Helpless. Just bang, bang, bang. So many great episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer all in a row. So come join us on the Entertainment Channel for that. And thank you all for joining us today. If I guess I won't see you on the starting 11 until 2025. So I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Be responsible, whatever you do. That's the one, parenting thing I can tell all you guys. Have fun. It's easy to be responsible, but make sure you have fun. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll be back. Starting 11, the new year. All right, bye.